Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a beautiful day, and I know quite a handful of us will wear a smile as we're proceeding into a new Ondo State. Thank you for holding forth. I'll be your moderator for the third panel session. I am Kemi Adeniyi. I'm the Special Assistant to the Governor of Ondo State on Broadcast Communication. And so today, we'll be asking a practical question on how we're going to move innovation beyond ideas, and we're going to move into actions and ensure that we achieve results. And so this afternoon, I'll be moderating on the topic, innovation as a catalyst for subnational. I'll move on quickly for want of time. Let me introduce to us Barrister Omomowo Emmanuel. He is the Administrative Secretary of ONDIPA in Ondo State. Barrister Emmanuel. He is the CEO of ONDIPA. I beg your pardon. Barrister Emmanuel represents Ondo State's official investment promotion agency, ONDIPA, as we popularly call it here, is responsible for attracting, facilitating, and protecting investments in the state, serving as a bridge between investors and government policies. You clearly see that he's seated. A warm round of applause for him, please. Thank you. And next in line is a face that is known by most of us. He is an actor and comedian. I'd like to join me as you give a thunderous applause for Mr. Ayodeji Richard Makun, popularly known as AY. He is the CEO of Corporate World Entertainment. AY leads one of Nigeria's most successful entertainment enterprises and has built scalable creative platforms that generate jobs and global visibility. His experience demonstrates how creativity can become structured economic value at scale. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, AY. You're welcome. The next in line is Honorable Dele Kelvin Oye Esquire. He is the chairman, Nigeria-Turkey Business Council. Honorable Oye operates the intersection of trade, diplomacy, and international investment, facilitating bilateral business partnerships and cross-border commercial relationships that unlock foreign capital and global market access. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me with a warm applause as I welcome off stage Honorable Dele Kelvin Oye. Is he stepping forward? I move to the next panelist. He is Dr. Stephen Akintayo, the founder, SACL Holdings. Dr. Akintayo is a real estate and investment strategist known for structuring large-scale property and wealth-building ventures. His expertise lies in converting vision into investable assets and scalable growth platforms. You're welcome. A warm round of applause for Dr. Stephen Akintayo, please. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I'd like us to begin. And so I'll take a walk to my seat as I begin with the questions. Thank you. I know a lot of people will be thinking I'll start with AY. I won't start with you. I'll be starting with Dr. Ken Okpara. Let's delve right into it. Sir, what specific roles should banks play in supporting innovation ecosystems and de-risking emerging sectors to drive measurable economic growth? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and Our Royal Majesty, please permit me to rest on protocol, just to congratulate His Excellency on this. I think essentially financial innovation and, of course, de-risking the sector remains the game changer, basically that can accelerate economic development and also get a front leap as it relates to economic development. I'll just take just statistics, just a second. If you look at the population of Ondo State, as at the last count, 5.3 million population, close to 60% of this are basically the youth population, those that are below 30 years and, And what this means is that it's a very productive state, is a state that is driven by innovation. It's a state that is very agile and nimble. If you also take back the opportunities before I then come in with the product that will obviously drive this, is to look at a product like cocoa, which of course speakers have talked about. In 2025, the total output for Nigeria was about 243,000 metric tons. Out of that, 45% of it came from Ondo State alone. That's over 155,000. And that again underscores the importance of this. If you take it in dollar terms, that's about 800 and something $million. And I think Dr. Fasho alluded to this. So what this means is that there's so much opportunities in this area. And so in terms of financial innovation, and then of course building capacity, the first thing is to try to de-risk them by building capacity. And this is very, very important. Some years back, before and when Fidelity started, the first thing we did was to look at a sector like cocoa. And we recognized that there are a lot of opportunities, including the value chain. So what we did was to build capacity. And today, if you look at the total number of major players in the space that also drive cocoa, they are here. They are coming from this state. And you see a whole lot of them, essentially. And most of these people were people we tried as much as possible to provide capacity and as much as possible help them. The other point to say is that in supporting this sector, it is important to recognize that not all finance supports our sector. So you need to make tailor-made products that will appeal to critical sectors of this area. And if you take again cocoa, for instance, what we've done was to recognize that there are farmers that need seedling. We provided basic funding for them. Beyond the farmers are the local buying agents. You then have a product that administers to those local buying agents. Beyond that are then the major exporters. You also have a product that supports them. In doing this, you provide comprehensive support that addresses that. And that's essentially how you will be able to aggravate that. So you look at the people at the bottom of the pyramid, the farmers, you then provide support for them. You could even look for what funding sources, crowdfunding. It could also be lower sources of funds that will support them. And when you do that, you then will be in the position to support them. I also want to say clearly that one of the major developments that has happened in this country, which Fidelity partnered with, is the establishment of credit guarantee scheme. And what it does is basically to de-risk these farmers. Currently, we are partnering with Nigeria Credit Guarantee Company to de-risk farmers to the extent that if you extend facility in this area, they would provide 60% assurance in terms of support. Right. And of course, Fidelity is strongly doing that. So we think that that's very, very important as much as possible, and we believe that that is the best way, providing support, building capacity, providing tailor-made funding that
Okay.
administers to this critical value chain as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Opara. A warm round of applause for him, please. I believe that at Fidelity, they say they keep their words, and so I believe it. Thank you very much for your contribution. I'll move quickly to Barrister Omomo. I'd like to ask you, sir, how is ONDIPA simplifying the investment process to make Ondo a heaven for investors?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Standing on the existing protocol, Mr. Governor, ONDIPA is the investment arm of the state, and it has a mandate to facilitate, create, and coordinate investment environment for investors, and to also collaborate with investors under PPP arrangement for establishment of industry, provision of infrastructures with a view to create jobs and also sustain, enhance the economy of the state. So what we do generally is any investor that is interested in developing any project in the state, we have to come by way of a proposal. That is project proposal, which may be addressed directly to Mr. Governor or to ONDIPA or to any ministry. But what they have to do is, because ONDIPA is the head negotiator in any PPP project, is the one that is standing between the private sector and the state government. So such proposal will have to be referred to ONDIPA, to Ondo State Development and Investment Promotion Agency. So we have to look at the proposal and see how feasible such project will be to the state and how beneficial. So we look at we investigate the company, who they are, whether they are truly a registered entity. We look at the project, whether they have the capacity to do. We also look at their financial strength, whether they have the financial strength to execute the project. And beyond that, we also, some of them will come, for instance, in agriculture where they ask for land. You know, it's very difficult for any individual to get 10,000 hectares from any individual. So we look at what is appropriate size of land they need for such projects. So we also advise them, having gone through all these processes, where some even require benchmarking the cost of their project, we also do all this. Then there and then we also take it to, we also engage other technical ministries that are involved, that might provide technical knowledge with regard to such a proposal. We also engage them on this to be able to have a very common ground on such project. Where it requires engaging professionals outside the system for the purpose of being able to advise the government properly, we also do this. But eventually it has to go to Mr. Governor, who is the chairman of ONDIPA, and before then it has to go through the board too for analysis of that project, so that we actually comply with the due diligence on such projects, so that we will not eventually be defrauded or even be misled. So upon this, we now prepare a draft agreement and send the draft agreement to the Office of the Honorable Attorney General, who will also look at it with his legal knowledge as the Chief Law Officer before it now goes to Mr. Governor, who will also grant approval for such a project. So it depends on the nature of project. Some go beyond this particular analysis, but the bottom line is that ONDIPA is the coordinating agency for investment and ensure that every stakeholder, with regard to such project, every stakeholder is brought in to have their input, and that is exactly what we do. And when we also realize that the investor may not understand the project, we guide them properly. So these are the ways we actually relate with the investors.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. A warm round of applause for him, please. He has clearly stated that Ondo is safe haven for investors. And so I'll move on quickly to the one and only AY. I'd like to ask you, sir, what practical steps can Ondo State take to monetize talent, entertainment, and culture in a way that creates jobs and boosts the state's global visibility?
All right, thank you very, very much. First of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you for this opportunity to come back home, to be able to speak before my people. His Excellency, thank you for this opportunity. Now that I mentioned home, a lot of people are quiet, probably when they see me in movies and I hear the name.
You'll always shout, worry.
Akbos, Oborogeneru Koko Mukoro Dafe. They actually think I'm from Delta State. No, I am from Ifon Inose local government area of Ondo State.
Welcome back home.
Yes.
Welcome back
my
home.
family, Motitoli. So I was quite jealous when Omotola had the opportunity to greet our king. And I want to say to His Excellency, I don't have that opportunity, and I want a resolution to happen in that effect, because it's been long. Ifon has been there without a king, and I know that is something you can look into. Please, let's look at it and let's have a king, because leadership is all part of what we're talking about. Now, straight to your question. Monetization is very, very important. Important in every sense. And I'll tell you why monetization is important, in the creative sector. Nigeria is blessed with different talented human resources. Ondo State is blessed with numerous talents that you can recognize and acknowledge. The only reason you see Omotola being invited here today is because of what she has been able to do for herself. She's been able to create that inroad, to put herself out there and be on that global stage representing us. And I would say that I've been able to do likewise as AY, and monetization is one major part that has kept me going in business. That's why beyond seeing AY as a stand-up comedian, you will see AY also as an employer of labor, because we have different talents out there. Now, talking about monetization, for that to happen in Ondo State, we have to be very, very intentional. Intentional in the sense that you need to look at entertainment beyond just entertaining people. We have to also see it as a business. And when we see it as a business, it means that we need to have the right structure in place. And when we have the structure in place, we also have to be very intentional about how the structure will operate. And when we have all of that in place, it's very, very easy to now start taking it to another level before discussing how monetization will affect it positively. Now, what are the structures? Like Ondo State, for example, Omotola said it, we already have talents. We have people who are looking for that opportunity. The first step is to have forums like this, where we can have these people get the necessary training, get the necessary awareness. With all that awareness in place, that is when we can now take it to the next stage, which is now monetization. Monetization is good because we have different platforms that are working for us now as entertainers. I do stand-up comedy. From doing stand-up comedy, I delved into movie productions. And for you to understand that monetization is what has kept me going as a brand. That's why I will do big budget movies, even as an individual, without any form of support. And I will still find a way to succeed. Why? Because I know that when you produce that particular movie, you are going to put it in the cinemas, and that is going to generate revenue. When you do that, you're also going to put it, send it across to the streaming platforms like Netflix and what have you. And that is also going to generate revenue as well. And before you get to that stage, look at Ondo State, for example. Monetization is just all around entertainment, but a lot of people look at entertainers and all you see is entertainment. For example, if Omotola brings a production, or AY brings a production to Ondo State right now, this minute as we speak, it is going to help generate a lot without people knowing it. Now, how? Beyond the movie, beyond the script, you're going to have the opportunity to have our people be script writers. They are going to be part of the production crew, and it's going to affect hospitality business. Hospitality business in the sense that when we come, we're not going to stay under trees. Transportation, you're going to have all of that. And this is gathering different classes of people, and all of that generates money. And that monetization, personally, is something you get as something that you work for, but monetization generally in the creative sector is you understanding that the concept of show business is for you to have something to show before the business will come.
All right.
If you don't have anything to show, the business will not come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your input. A warm round of applause for him as he brings his next project back home. Thank you, AY. I'll move on quickly to Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I'd like to ask you, sir, if you're in a position to advise the Ondo State government as a private sector investor, what one large-scale project would you structure first to send a strong signal to both international and local markets?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Governor. I think I was here 2 or 3 years ago, and it's good to be back here. One of the things I noticed with Ondo State government, at least the only one I know, is the only state where the governor will sit down, whether it's 7 hours or 8 hours, to listen to investors.
A warm round of applause for His Excellency.
Any other government.
Thank you.
So please help me celebrate Mr. Governor one more time.
Thank you very much.
I will say one of the stories I'll give 2 stories. So we, by the way, our company is SACI Holding, SACI. It's a US-based private equity and venture capital firm. We also have several real estate assets and companies under that. But I used to live in Dubai, and we did a lot of real estate in Dubai. And if you look at what Sheikh Al Maktoum did, there's a particular video. I will send it to the organizers to send to Mr. Governor. The ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Al Maktoum, came to this particular military camp. It was a desert, and with some journalists, Western journalists, and was telling them, he said, I'm going to build a very tall building here. Then we're going to do a mall. Then people will start coming all over the world. Then this will be the city center for Dubai. Today, that's where Burj Khalifa is. That's where the tallest, the biggest mall is. And it has become real tourist attraction. So if you say, what should I advise the government in terms of project, we need something like that. When we're coming from the airport to this place, I noticed that we drove almost an hour, and it was all green, almost an hour driving down. Any of those locations can be a place where we say, can we build the biggest mall in Africa here? Can we build the biggest theme park? And we saw similar thing happen with Disney World. Walt Disney came to a bush and said, I want to build where the whole world will be coming. In fact, he invited his friends and said, I have gotten over 1,000 hectares here. You buy more. So you will build hotels for the resorts that we're building. Of course, this friend didn't believe him and regretted later. So imagine resorts. You have 3 big stars, Motola, AY, you have Sheilo, and several other people I'm sure will discover. Imagine having a media estate, a film estate, where you have massive studio, because that's all that you see with Universal Studios,
We're
Disney
looking forward
Studios.
to all of that.
Yes,
Thank
these
you
are,
very
you
much.
asked me to ask, and
Yes, go ahead.
So with this kind of projects, I think that we can turn things around, and the whole world will start coming to Ondo for massive tourism. You already have a golf course that somebody was sharing with me that is one of the best. So imagine this kind of things. Everybody will start coming to Ondo State. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words of advice. A warm round of applause for the panelists. And for want of time, I'd like to draw a close here. We call it a wrap on this session as you give them a warm round of applause. And before you go back to your seat, you're entitled to taking photographs. Anyway, clearly I'm the only woman here. I'll start here.